All these eyeshadow palette videos are making me realize how many eyeshadow palettes I don't own. Today we're doing a new eyeshadow palette tag video. I love doing these videos. I saw Angelica Nikves do the eyeshadow palette tag 5000 created by Chic Geek Makeup. I will have both those videos linked down below. We have 10 questions and 10 palettes-ish to go over in this video. But normally I start with an outfit of the day. I'm very casual today. I still have on my running shoes from when I was running errands. I went to the gym. These super comfy shorts are from Amazon. And I got this really epic Orange Crush t-shirt from Target. One of my favorite places for like fun graphic t-shirts. I will link any palettes that I mention in my description box, as well as any makeup or clothing items that I'm wearing is always linked down there. But like I said, I love to do eyeshadow palette tag videos and just tag videos in general. If there's any other fun ones that you see floating around, please do tag me on them or let me know. And I would love to do them. Like I said, we have 10 questions to go through. And the first question is a palette that you wore on a special occasion. And I was like, okay, what special occasions do I go to? Like Angelica did like her wedding, and I was like, so I am going to be talking about the ColourPop Smoke Show palette. I just mentioned this recently in a video as well, but again, I don't really do a lot of special occasion type things. But I wore this palette to the American Influencer Awards in 2019. I was nominated as Skincare Influencer of the Year, and then I won, and I was wearing this palette, and I was very excited about that. So I mentioned this in my go-to glam eyeshadow palettes, and you know, I was kind of referencing the American Influencer Awards as well, that obviously that was a very glam moment. You're walking a carpet, there's, you know, Getty Images was there. That was I think that was the first time I was ever like in Getty Images and things like that. And something about this color scheme just kind of screams glam to me. I am a very neutral, very basic eyeshadow wearer. I'm literally just wearing one eyeshadow stick like I have in the past several videos of mine. But something about this color scheme is just like, it's outside of my comfort zone, and it just makes me feel a little bit more like elevated. Even a lot of times when I go with this color scheme, I even wear false lashes. I know, I don't know who I am either. So this from ColourPop, the Smoke Show, it's been renamed to the Blowing Smoke. I believe it is still available because I think I just linked it in my last video. And my code with ColourPop is March Beauty Word, but this just made me feel like I need to go to another special occasion, because I don't get out much. Second question is a palette you love but is repetitive. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was going through my collection, and honestly I felt like there was a couple I probably could have mentioned, but I ended up pulling out the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. This is just, you know, it's a pretty big palette, and I like the way that it's set up, but it can make for being kind of repetitive, if you will, because each row is like, you know, in the same color family. But I like that they're the different finishes. Like you have the matte and the satin, and then you have like the glitters up top, but it can make for a little bit of repetitiveness, if you will, but it's still a pretty palette. It's one that I still continue to hold on to. I love the giant mirror in here. You can no longer get this palette, and it's another reason why I continue to hold on to it, but I mean, I'd say it's a bit repetitive. The third question is a palette that you got your money's worth out of, and I was like, okay. So I'm like going through my eyeshadow palette collection, which I will say, I don't have a super large palette collection in the grand scheme of things. Okay, let me try to rephrase that, because I still have a large eyeshadow palette collection to maybe like the everyday consumer. But as a beauty YouTuber, someone who's been doing this for the last 8 years, I feel like my eyeshadow palette collection is not as large as others, content creators. I am someone who I've decided to not keep as many eyeshadow palettes, even for the sake of videos, for the sake of like comparisons and all of that. I've decided that I wanted to have a more minimal collection really going into 2023. So sometimes doing these videos, I'm like a little bit stumped, and I'm like trying to go through my collection and what I have right now, but it's okay, it's fine, we're making it work. But I would say for a palette that I got my money's worth out of, honestly, my first thought was the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I love the Natasha Denona formula. It's my favorite formula, but that is the one palette, the only palette ever that I have been sent in PR from Natasha, and I was like, oh wait, like technically I did not buy that, and I want to talk about the one that I spent my money on and did I get my money's worth out of it. Then I definitely thought of the Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I've mentioned that in the past couple of my videos as well. Again, sometimes now I feel like I can get repetitive doing these types of videos because I have such a smaller collection, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. And so I definitely thought of the Sultry because I love that one. I mentioned that in my go-to glam palettes, and I talk about how I like the kind of cool tone looks that you can get with that one. For this video, I settled on another one from Natasha Denona, and it is the Glam Face and Eye palette. So this one, I'm trying to think what the retail price was. I still think it was in the $50 range or like the low 60s maybe. But you have 5 eyeshadows and then also a blush and a highlight up here. And this is just a really pretty palette. I like that it includes some face shades as well. I used to not be so into face and eye palettes, but over the last couple of years, I feel like I've really gravitated towards them more as my makeup style has changed and my makeup preferences have changed. I like reaching into something like this where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do my eyeshadows and I can do my blush. I don't wear highlight as much these days, so it would be cool if this was like a bronzer option as well, but that's okay. But these eye shades, like I was gonna mention this in my glam palettes also, but I did a different one from Natasha Denona. I own a lot of her palettes because it's my favorite formula. But I love the very, you know, neutral and just kind of like classic basic eyeshadows on the bottom here, if you will. I like the blush. The highlight, like I said, I don't really wear on my face, but it makes for a nice eyeshadow or like inner corner brow bone highlight, things like that. This is a palette that I'm super happy that I bought because I like to reach for it. I like to travel with it. So I definitely think that I got my money's worth out of this one. I am an affiliate with Natasha Denona, and my code is Samantha for 15% off. Number 4 is palette that is an amazing deal. I was a little bit stumped by this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, okay. You know, my thought was I need to look for like my more affordable palettes and that sort of thing. And then I was looking through my more expensive palettes because I would say my makeup preferences is more high-end makeup, not necessarily drugstore affordable, but also not necessarily luxury. I'm kind of in the middle there in high-end. And so I started to look through some of my more affordable palettes, and then I went to my high-end palettes and I was like, did I get a good deal on any of these palettes? I don't really think that I did. So I ended up going with a ColourPop palette. I don't have a ton of palettes that I keep from them, but the Sage the Day, I think this one is really pretty, and it's $14, and I like the color scheme in here. I like greens, I like browns. So this is just a pretty palette that I like to reach for everyday looks, or again, if I want the more like green looks. I have like a fun kind of more like duochrome shade in here also. This one was like a little bit hard for me. I would love to know, like, leave yours in the comments, like what is the palette that you felt you got a really good deal on. But I also feel like when I am purchasing especially eyeshadow palettes, I'm usually purchasing them right away, which often means that they are not like discounted or on sale or anything like that, because I'm trying to include them in my videos and that sort of thing. So I didn't really feel like I had a standout for that question. Number 5 is a quad that you love and that you wish was a larger eyeshadow palette. Again, I don't have a ton of quads. I have a lot of like 5 pans, 9 pans. So I was going through the ones that were quads and I was like, you know, this one from Kaleidos. This is the Cold Brew palette, and I just mentioned this in my top 10 basic AF eyeshadow palette video. And this one is so beautiful. This is a great formula. I love the 3 matte browns and the shimmer is beautiful. But even if this was like a 6 pan, I think could be really pretty. Maybe add in a couple extra shimmers, or like a 9 pan with, you know, all 4 of these shades because they're fantastic. But again, like a few more shimmers in there would be like so excellent. But the matte formula too, like even to add on a couple more matte shades in this color story, I think would be so pretty. But the Kaleidos formula is gorgeous. I love the packaging. Like if it was a larger palette, it would definitely have the same packaging though. That's fire. Number 6 is that you love the quality of the eyeshadow palette, but you hate the packaging. I was like, okay, this is hard. I was like going through everything. I was like, there's not a lot of palettes that I have that I'm like, oh no, not that packaging. And then I stumbled upon this one and I was like, oh wait, Chucky. This is just terrifying. This is just scary. I haven't even seen the movie Chucky, but I know enough to know that I should be scared when I see these faces on my eyeshadow palette, okay? So this is from Glamlight, and this is their Chucky palette. I really like this palette. I like the quality of the Glamlight eyeshadows, and in here, I like this kind of, to me, it's kind of like, I always say like rock and roll, grungy type of vibes. Again, it's not the norm for me. It's a little bit out there, but I still really enjoy the quality in here, but I mean, the packaging is just scary. Well, now I'm just spooked and I think someone's behind. Number 7 is show your dream palette with single shadows. Okay, so not only do I not own a ton of eyeshadow palettes in YouTuber land, I also don't own a ton of single shadows. Single shadows just really were never my thing. Like I had a few from Makeup Geek, a few from ColourPop, I've had some from indie brands, but I haven't kept around a lot of single shadows. And when I moved from Iowa to Las Vegas, it was a pretty significant, you know, it was a long move versus like when I moved houses in Iowa, it was like makeup collection here versus this was like, you know, the moving truck and things were being moved weeks before I moved. I actually like basically lost my single shadows in the move, and I didn't find them until almost a year after living here, and was like, oh, there's my single shadows, because I didn't miss them. I didn't even know that I had misplaced them. Lost them. I had no idea. So this was a little bit challenging to me, but I did my best, and I did a like a little bit of a mixture of some of my single shadows that I have in here, and then also some of my Super Shocks from ColourPop. So I don't have a lot of matte singles. I have Peach Smoothie and Creme Brulee from Makeup Geek. So I do wish I had like a darker brown matte as well. Again, kind of flashing back to that Cold Brew palette, I think would be really pretty. And then a few more from, I don't even know why I'm picking that up. We have Shimma Shimma from Makeup Geek and Snake Eyes from ColourPop. This one is Grandstand from Makeup Geek. And then the last two down here, they're just kind of like fun. We have Mr. Sandman from ColourPop and also Whimsical, which is from Makeup Geek. So it's a little close-up of the palette here. Like that's cute. We have like, you know, it's very neutral and basic, and then like these little pops of color here, but then to add in a little bit more, I definitely wanted to put in like a green because I love green. So this is Corsage from ColourPop, kind of like a minty green. How fun. One of my favorite shadows from ColourPop, I keep wearing this recently. This is Ladybird. Had to include Ladybird, of course. And then had to have a good gold eyeshadow because I wear a lot of gold. So this one is Blogger. I mean, look, that's kind of like that antique gold. Super beautiful. And then I also wanted to include another purple because I do enjoy wearing purples as well. Oh, this one doesn't have, I forget, this one doesn't have a sticker on it. It was from the the Disney Princess collection that came out. I don't know why it doesn't have a sticker on it though. If I can find it, I will link it, of course. But I felt like that with like the single shadows with, you know, the few mattes and some fun shimmers, and then also adding on, like these are just colors that I really like to wear. The gold, the purple, the green. Ladybird is just so stunning. Like, how cute would that be? I don't know, I did my best on that one. That was a hard one. This whole video is just kind of hard for me, okay? The next one is palettes you'd like to combine together. Truly, I don't do that. I don't really do that very often. If I'm going into an eyeshadow palette, I mean, I think it's because I wear so few eyeshadows anyways. Like again, like I just have one shadow stick on my eyes right now. A lot of times if I'm going into a palette, it's for like 1 or 2 shadows. 3, 4 is getting to be a lot. 5, I'm like, what am I doing? Am I going somewhere nice? What's happening here? But one thing that like a makeup look that I've been doing quite a bit recently, and I've also been getting asked a lot of questions. My next Get Ready With Me, this is the makeup look that I am going to do. And I'm very excited for this Get Ready With Me because I'm talking about this trip to Ireland that we can take together. I will have the links in my description box. They're also on my website. I've been talking about this a little bit on my community tab with like my members and Facebook group, and I also put some Instagram stories up the other day about going to Ireland. Sam Squad takes over Ireland for New Year's Eve. So that will be my next try to get ready with me, but I used the Sigma New Mod. You know, the Barbie movie just released, so there's a lot of hype about Barbie right now. So I was doing a lot of pink makeup. So I was really using a lot of New Mod and also Voguish. and I would put these 2 shades all over my eyes. And then while I really like a lot of the shimmers in here, I wanted to go again into Ladybird. I was trying to pan Ladybird, and if you caught my video, which video was it? Oh, my makeup declutter. I was talking about how I had a goal for myself that I wanted to pan an eyeshadow, ColourPop Super Shock shadow, and if I didn't, then I had to declutter at least one for my collection. And I really thought I was gonna pan Ladybird, and I didn't, but I've had it out and about because I've been trying so hard. So this on top of these like pink shadows just made such a beautiful look. And I've been getting so many compliments on it. So this is the duo that I was going with. So I thought I would share that. And again, I will be putting that in my next and try to get ready with me video. So that will be going up very soon because I want to tell you all about Ireland and all of these details and how you can go and how we can hang out for 10 days in Ireland. Like, so crazy. So that video will be coming soon. But if I would have to say what I combined together, Sigma New Mod, ColourPop, Ladybird. I'm also an affiliate with Sigma, and my code is Samantha. Number 9 is a large palette you wish was smaller. I was a little bit stumped on this one, and I was looking and I was like, I don't know, like some of my bigger palettes, I like them for that reason, like the Lawless the One palette. Like she has a mini version of that palette, but I like the larger palette. So I was looking, and then I decided on the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. I also felt like I probably could have put this under repetitive, but this to me, it's one of the newer palettes from Natasha. I'm still waiting for my mini Starlet. I don't know when this video is going up, but at the time I'm filming, I ordered the Starlet like the day it released, and it's been a while. Everyone already has their videos up, so I'm like, of course. But still waiting on that one to come to me. But this is her newest midi palette, and I bought it, and I did a bunch of looks with it, and I said I just felt like I was kind of getting the same looks. And so I was thinking this one, if you made it smaller and kind of put maybe some unique shades together. But then honestly, I was looking at my collection, I was like, I feel like if you made a mini, it might look really similar to the mini gold from Natasha Denona. I don't know, like I feel like I could see it, right? Like I could see it. But I would say if she were to make like a mini of the Yucca, like maybe only one green, maybe only one of the gold shimmers, maybe like citrine could be a good one, like a matte brown, and then maybe this Plantasia. No, Elysian is my favorite shade out of here. That would have to be included for sure. So maybe like Willow, Elysian, maybe like this one up here I think is really pretty. So that third shade, like Valley as like your matte brown. And then did I already say like citrine or this, like one of these two? Maybe like the yellow neon for a fun pop, but I don't think it like does as much. But I feel like this one could be like a fun mini because I just don't feel like you need all of the shades in here. Like it's just kind of like the same over and over. And then at number 10 is an eyeshadow palette that you wish had a matching face palette. And I was like, okay. I was thinking about the, you know, the Glam Face and Eye from Natasha Denona. Like, okay, like what palette would I maybe take like 5 shades from, but then you could also include something else that was really pretty for the face. I ended up going with the Sigma Ambiance palette. I really enjoy this palette. It's beautiful, it's neutral, it's stunning. Again, I was kind of like playing off the Natasha Denona Glam Face and Eye, but like I could very easily choose 5 eyeshadows from here that I think would make for a stunning 5-pan. And then also I decided to go with this too because I really enjoyed the Sigma bronzers and also blushes. I wear the Sigma bronzer so much, but also they make really nice matte blushes too. So I don't know, you know, I Sigma. Hey Sigma, if you want to make a face and eye palette, I have some ideas. But I think they would make for a great one because they have a great eyeshadow formula, then they have that great face formula. And if they did want to combine it and do something a little bit different, you know, for the brand, at least from my knowledge, I don't think they've released a face and eye palette. And I also have released a face and eye palette, so I have experience. And this is my application to apply. But I've done a face and eye palette with Ofra Cosmetics as well, with eyeshadows and then a blush, a bronzer, and a highlight. And I reach for my Life's a Draft palette all the time because, like I said when I was talking about the glam face and eye, that's my preference right now. I like reaching into that one palette and being able to do so many different steps. So I think the ambiance could be really pretty if it was also in a face palette, and because of Sigma's great formula. So after that, that is it, the eyeshadow palette 5000 tag. I will put all the questions down below if you want to do this tag as well, or tag your favorite creators. Let them know that you want to see this video too. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.